What's up, everybody? Here's another episode of Duval Again Show. You already know what it is. Find me on X or Twitter at the handle down below. As Tal said, we're just going to talk about the Jags preseason game. A little late on this video coming out, but do some other issues, but we're here. So let me start, of course. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Try to do these every week, and then I'll probably have a few guest shows coming up, but we'll see how this goes. All right, so to start off with, of course, we saw that football's back. Jaguars, we won our first game of the preseason. I know a lot of people don't claim the preseason as football. It's football. It's NFL football. It's the first time we're seeing these new kickoff rules. Looks like even some of the refs don't fully understand what's going on with some of this. But we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, as the season goes on, we either get used to it or we go back to the old way. I'm on the fence about it right now. I do think we have a good enough team that we'll use it to our advantage, but it is a little quirky, I feel like. I feel like we have a higher risk of injuries because you can't dodge people, but we'll see how that goes. But like I said, football's back. That's great to hear. Jaguars are back, which I know we're all excited for this to get the bad taste of last year now out of our mouths. And now this year we can probably go. We need to go for it. Show the Texans and the Colts and the Titans that the AFC South isn't. It's not over. It's ours. And this is just the first step in that process. So to start off with, again, glad we won. I'm gonna do a little brief winners and losers of who I felt. I know some of y'all who've been here before know I kind of do a Jags versus Jags being just a guy. So I'm gonna give you a few of those. So see, I don't feel like there was any major losers in this game. There was a few hiccups. I mean, Blake Haynes as the backup guard isn't great. But if you're that down, I feel like you shouldn't be playing. Cooper Hodge is probably going to take a spot once he's healthy. That was the biggest thing. The running game wasn't great, but again, without two starters, it's hard to see how good the running back game actually will be. At least with the starters. I don't think that our depth at the O-line is good enough. I think we need to pick up some people. But again, we're kind of in there. Let's see what happens. Stephon Foster, our backup, or I guess backup to the backup. Tackle was played decent. I think it's just our interior play. It's not great. Brandon Sheriff's fine. Mitch Morse looked great. Cam Robinson looked fine. But without Tony Harrison or Ezra Cleveland, I feel it's hard for us to really get a good vibe of how this offensive line is actually going to be. So I think we probably won't see that to the last game of the preseason, because that's usually the warm-up game. We'll see if Doug tries to flip it, or if he plays starters all three games. So it was good. Again, this is me. If I had to nitpick on some downside stuff, Trevor's sack was avoidable. Evan Ingram was open. Trevor still had a little bit issue of trying to look at the deep shot for Brian Thomas. Which I hope that's not a thing like it was with Calvin Ridley this year with the deep shot, or not the deep shot, but the looking for just one player all the time. So hopefully that gets cleaned up. But other than that, like we did with Calvin Ridley, I feel like the offense flows better if we kind of just go through our progressions. But other than that, I'm fine with everything. The offense scored on a short field. Parker Washington looked like a great returner with this new system. Then the other drive, we drove down the field. We just kind of, that fourth down sack is something we can't do. We can't let it happen. But on that, I mean, everyone looked great. I mean, everyone's talking about, the moment, but I'll get to that in a second. But backups looked okay. I think it's going to be a hard fight at safety. We just signed Gibson back, all of us from the 2017 Jacksonville era. He was our starting safety. He just got re-signed. He hasn't been in Jacksonville since. He is suspended for the first 6 games, so that's probably going to be a depth play. But the thing about that signing is making me think that Dewey's done for the year or most of the year. I don't think they're going to put him on IR because I think there's a chance he'll come back near the end of the year. I just don't see why you sign a safety, especially a safety that's going to be suspended for the first 6 games of the year, unless you're worried about depth later. Being a depth of safety, Terrell Edmonds looked great. He laying the wood, get some hits. Those hits caused 2 forced fumbles. Of course, we didn't recover those, sadly, but he was still doing his thing. I feel like he's going to be in the running for some playing time, maybe in the doer role. Adrian Amos made a few tackles, especially for just now being on the team. So that was good to see. The D-line looked better than we thought. Josh Allen was eating. Trayvon Walker had a few good pressures. And it doesn't work on that his wrap up for the missed sack on Wentz, but that's going to come with throughout the year. I think once the game's actually started, I don't think he'll get missed like that. The linebackers look great. I mean, doing an actual 4-3 defense is great to see. I feel like putting Walker's hand in dirt, he's going to be a monster. It's going to be a better. He's been saying it since he came in. He felt more comfortable with his hand in the dirt. He was even saying in interviews he's glad now he doesn't have to go in coverage anymore. So I feel like that's going to be great for him. And with Eric Armstead, who didn't even play in this game, coming back in the middle, he can't get doubled unless they do like a max protect, and then that of course helps us as a defense. Secondary looked fine. Tyson Campbell did not play, but still nothing really major. Our defense doubled Travis Kelce. To my eye, and a bunch of us also on Twitter, if I'm wrong, let me know. That's one of the few times we've seen anybody get doubled. That Mike Caldwell defense wasn't doubling anybody, so people just going to field. So that's good to see that we realize, hey, we have to take this guy out of the game, make the other guys beat us, which I am down for. That's like I said, they're all winners. I think the Jaguars defense was winners. French Miller coming back. Playing it with the backups with the linebacker, looked like he was great. He's going back. He is hurt his hand, so he's playing hurt, but he still was a downhill hitter thing. So that's great to see. But I think he's going to be running for some backup playing time, which who knows who will back up. He's probably going to back Devin Lloyd, but again with Muma there who can do both. I don't know how much playing time we'll actually get on the defense, but he's a big member of our special team, so I think he'll at least get some playing time there. But Christian Baswell had a fumble return touchdown. I don't care what the ref said. That was a clean strip and ran it back. So that was good. So that's some plus against him. But I think it's gonna be hard for a corner. Depth is going to be pretty good. So big plays like that really help him. Especially with Darnell Savage being a nickel and a safety. So that's a nickel spot. And then so it's going to be hard as a secondary to make the team. But I feel like that's a big play that we need in order to continue this. I guess we're going to now I'll touch on the matter. Y'all know, y'all see it, but the catch right here, this catch, Calvin really drops this. We saw it stuff in his hands. It was dropped. Brian Thomas, I don't think, obviously, we haven't seen him play a full year. But the big plays, he's a deep guy, so it's really going to help. And if he's making catches like this, it's going to be a great season for him. And this is with CJ Beathard underthrowing him. We all know Trevor's going to overthrow if anything, which Thomas has the speed to run it down. That's really great to see. I think he's probably going to start out as like the 4th option, which is kind of crazy. I'm not saying he's the 4th receiver. I'm saying he's the 4th option. Because obviously you're going to have Kirk and Ingram are going to be 1 and 2. Gabe Davis probably going to be 3. You can argue ETN or Brian Thomas going to be 4 or 5, at least in the passing game. But he'll still get plenty of targets, plenty of deep shots like this throughout the year. So I think that's really going to open up our offense. He only had 2 targets, and the other one he was a little late on, and then this one he came back and got it. So we'll see how that goes. Again, I'm not Christian as like, oh, he's the next best thing, but I feel like he's going to be a major weapon in our offense, even at that low option. Wouldn't surprise me if he ends up leading the team in yards per reception, if it's not total yards or anything, just because of how his deep playability. So that's going to be great to see. Devin Duvernay is another good option. He had a deep catch that he adjusted for and got a touchdown from CJ Beathard, same guy who threw this pass. So that was great to see. So I feel like Parker Washington making returns. Our receiver core, I feel like it's probably the best receiver core Trevor's ever had. It's probably getting up there, depending on one of the best we've ever had, depending on all these guys reach their full potential. So that was great. The backup running backs had some good runs. Tank Bisley's running hard. But my only issue with Tank Bisley he was running hard in preseason last year. Then season came around, he didn't dominate as much. So hopefully that gets cleared up because if he plays like he is capable of, that's a 1-2 punch right there with him and Etienne. Hopefully the line blocks a lot better now. Mac Jones, who born and raised in Duval, looked way better here than he ever did in New England. So I don't. Again, and he's probably playing with as the same or close to the same quality receivers. No shade at them, but the New England's offensive weapons weren't great. By the time he went in, I'm not saying like our stars are better, but like the depth pieces. So that was good to see. It looks like he was having fun. He did take a bad sack, but again, preseason jitters. So hopefully that comes up. And honestly, hopefully, as much as good as he played, hopefully this is the only time in the game he plays, barring massive blowouts in our favor. But Trevor plays the whole year. It'd be great. Mac is kind of like he's just rebuilt his reputation year. So hopefully this helps. He was the third quarterback going in, but I feel like all of us kind of know he's probably going to be the backup. CJ's probably going to be stashed on the practice squad. Doesn't really make sense to cut Mac and keep CJ, especially with what we trade for him. And another team's probably going to pick up Mac Jones. Most teams probably going to pick up CJ, so you probably could stash him on the practice squad a little better. But that was good to see. A lot of this, but that's everyone. I mean, I feel like this was like a good game for us. There was some still jitters. I guess a big shout out is going to be to Coach Doug Peterson and special teams coordinator Heath Farwell. In knowing the safety rule in the league now, that Cole Hardman got it. I know a lot of y'all saying it wasn't safety. If you look up the rule book, it's still technically a safety. It was always considered a safety because it was in and then out and then back in to the field of play out of the end zone. Most players don't touch it in that situation. So I feel like that's why a lot of us think, oh, it's just touched by second hit the thing. But the refs never called it. So they took a knee. It's a live ball. So because he was in the end zone, it's what it is. So I know Coach Andy Reid, the Chiefs, still saying it wasn't a safety, but he's shrugging it off. It was rule safety, and the rule books technically say it was safety. So I don't know. It is going to be a lot getting used to some of these new rules. So I feel like that we may have some maybe not similar plays like this, but like when I touch the ball, when I not touch the ball. So we'll see how that goes throughout the year. Like I said, they're trying out all these new ways. We'll see how it goes. I don't mind this. The onside kick rule, which we haven't seen yet, is awful. That needs to go away. That needs to we can do it whenever. Go back to the old way onside kick. If you want to keep, there's no way for the player safety. It's not going to matter if they know it's coming anyway. I don't know how logistically it works, but that rule, which didn't affect our game again because it wasn't in ours, that rule's dumb. It needs to go away. But we'll see how everything else looks. Everything else is looking good. Like Again, I'm just glad football's back. I'm glad Jaguars are back. A lot of the other rookies are looking good, so this year is going to be great. It's going to be a lot more interesting. But again, I feel like we got the best team in the AFC South. At least we get in the playoffs, anything can happen. So let's get this. Let's show everybody that Duval is back. It's Duval against the world. It's Duval against y'all. But this is what they have to do. Keep the winning going. It'd be great to see us win preseason, win all the regular season, win the playoffs, win Super Bowl, but most likely not going to happen. But again, this is what it all starts now. Real football's back, real tackling, real hitting. Luckily, I didn't see any flags for the new tackling rule, so hopefully that's not an issue. So I think that's everything. The only thing I want to touch on is a lot of us were a lot worried, or I guess shocked would be a better word, that War Robinson Harrison was playing late into the third quarter. So it's like, is he on the roster bubble trying to get reps? According to Doug Pearson, he's been hurt throughout training camp, so they're just trying to get him reps. I don't think he'll get cut. If anything, he might get traded, but I don't think we'll cut him just due to his contract situation. And as depth pieces, I know there's a few guys on the depth that look pretty good, like Breland Sparks out of the UFL. He looked good, but again, he's more of an edge guy, so he'll probably be like a third edge guy with your Yashir Abdullah, as opposed to Roy Robinson Harrison's position. But again, I feel like everything fine. I don't think he's dangerous getting cut. He is a better pass rusher, I feel like, than he is a run stopper, but that's what Devon Hamilton's for. We'll see how it goes. I think he fits Armstrong's backup well, so I don't think he's in any danger yet. But if it keeps coming, then we'll see how this looks. But again, I don't think it's anything big right now. Nothing really to look out for. Just keep an eye on. But again, that's probably it for this episode of Duval Against Y'all. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter for all your Jaguars news. I'll be with y'all next week when we talk about our next game. And remember, it's Duval.